There's a kind of hurt you can't explain to anyone. No bruise, no proof, no single moment clear enough to point to and say, there, that's when they hurt me. Just after every time you're around that person, you walk away feeling drained, dimmer. Like a small piece of your confidence was quietly lifted from you before you even noticed it was gone. And the strangest part? You keep showing up, keep smiling, keep trying. If you've been exploring the psychology of relationships, especially the signs that someone looks down on you, then you probably know this feeling already. That quiet, nagging sense that in someone's eyes, you're always just almost enough, never quite their equal. I'm not here to lecture you today. I'm here because I know what that feeling is like, that feeling of doubting yourself after a perfectly ordinary conversation, wondering, am I just being too sensitive? You're not too sensitive. You just haven't had the right words to name what's been happening. And that's exactly why we're here today, together. People who look down on others rarely announce it. They don't walk in wearing a sign. In fact, some of them are charming, warm even. That's what makes decoding human behavior so difficult, because the tactics are subtle and they're designed to slide right past your defenses. So let's talk about what they actually do. They interrupt you, then finish your thought wrong. Not because they misunderstood, because your thought wasn't worth waiting for in their mind. They cut you off, redirect, then glance around the room like they've moved things along helpfully. They give backhanded compliments. Oh, that's actually really good. I didn't expect that from you. The word actually is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. So is didn't expect. They explain things you already know, slowly, simply, like you've never encountered the concept before. This is sometimes called mansplaining, but honestly it goes beyond gender. It's a power move, wrapped in the language of helpfulness. They dismiss your experiences with a pivot. You share something vulnerable, and within 2 sentences, they've made it about themselves. Or worse, they offer a quick fix that signals they weren't really listening. They use humor as a shield. They say something cutting, and when you react, they smile and say, "I'm just joking, you're so sensitive." That single phrase is a masterclass in what researchers call gaslighting-lite. Not enough to cause a scene, but enough to make you feel like the problem. And here's the psychology of it. These people often aren't entirely conscious of what they're doing. Some are running old, deep-seated patterns, learned in childhoods where putting others down was how you climbed up. Their need to feel superior isn't a personality trait, it's a coping strategy, a fragile one. But understanding their psychology doesn't mean excusing the damage it does, and the damage is real. Which brings us to something I think you'll find deeply validating, because science actually has a name for what you've been experiencing, and once you hear it, something is going to click. There's a concept in social psychology called status signaling, the idea that human beings are constantly, often unconsciously, managing their perceived rank within a group. We're wired for it, it's ancient, and people who look down on others are often the ones most anxious about their own place in the hierarchy. Research from the University of California found that individuals with fragile self-esteem, not low self-esteem but fragile, are more likely to engage in social comparison behaviors that involve diminishing others. They need the contrast to feel stable. They need you a little smaller so they can feel a little taller. And here's where it gets personal. Maybe you've noticed this with someone specific, a coworker who never quite acknowledges your wins, a family member who turns every dinner into a subtle competition, a friend who always has a better version of your story. You've probably tried harder, been funnier, smarter, more agreeable, and somehow still felt unseen. That's not a failure of effort. That's what happens when someone's behavior is driven by their internal architecture, not by who you actually are. There's also something called the Dunning-Kruger spiral in social dynamics, where people who feel most uncertain about themselves tend to overperform confidence, often at the expense of others. They perform authority, they perform expertise, they perform calm, because underneath, they're holding together something that feels breakable. I want you to hold on to that image for a moment. That person who makes you feel small, they are, in some way, afraid. Not of you specifically, but of being ordinary, of being looked down on themselves. None of that makes it okay, but it does mean something important. Their behavior is a mirror turned outward. What they're projecting onto you belongs to them. Now, knowing all of this intellectually is one thing, but what do you actually do when you're standing in front of someone who treats you like you're beneath them? That's where things get practical and honestly, a little empowering. First, you have to see it clearly. And seeing clearly means resisting the urge to explain it away. When that uncomfortable feeling shows up after an interaction, don't dismiss it. Sit with it. Ask yourself, did I feel respected in that conversation? Or did I feel like I was auditioning? Your body knows before your mind catches up. Once you've named it, here's what actually works. Stop performing for their approval. People who look down on others feed on the energy of people trying to earn their respect. When you stop auditioning, when you speak with calm steadiness instead of nervous justification, the dynamic shifts. You're no longer playing the game by their rules. Name the behavior without attacking the person. Try something calm and direct. That felt a little dismissive. Could you say that differently? Not aggressive, not pleading, just clear. People who rely on subtlety to put others down often freeze when the subtext becomes text. Audit the relationship honestly. Ask yourself, does this person celebrate your wins or quietly minimize them? Do they make you feel like a full human being or like a supporting character in their story? The answer matters. Not every relationship deserves your continued investment. Build your internal anchor. This is the long game. The more securely you know your own value, not arrogantly, just clearly, the less power these interactions have. Research on self-concept clarity shows that people with a stable sense of self are significantly less affected by social put-downs, because their identity doesn't depend on someone else's approval. And finally, distance, when necessary, is not weakness. It is discernment. You are allowed to quietly step back from people who consistently make you feel less than. Not with a speech, not with drama, just a gentle repositioning of your energy toward people who actually see you, because you deserve to be seen. And that brings me to one last thing I want to say. If something in this resonated with you, if you found yourself nodding or thinking of someone specific, or finally feeling like someone put words to something you've been carrying quietly, I just want to say, I see you. And if you think someone else needs to hear this too, please share this video, not to call anyone out, just to pass along a little clarity to someone who might need it right now. And if you'd like to keep exploring the deeper layers of human behavior together, subscribe, hit the bell, because we're just getting started. There's so much more to unpack about the people in our lives, about ourselves, and about how we move through this beautifully complicated world. I'll see you in the next one.